Hello, welcome to NC Web Dev Digital Marketing Series webinar. 5 ways to skyrocket your website's revenue. Starting today at 2 p.m. We're going to give another few seconds for everybody to get in, but I got a lot of information coming to you. So I'm not going to give a whole minute. I want to get this through to you as soon as possible. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. So today is a lot of information, and last week we gave you information about how your website bleeds revenue. Today we're going to give you information how to patch these things up. For most of you that think that it's easy, well, you may not think it, but other people told you, oh, it's easy, you just got to do this thing, that thing, and then you go viral and everything else. No, that's not the way it is. It actually costs a lot of money and a lot of time to get your website or any kind of online performance up. I mean, just can't do without it. Money or a lot of time. Either that or that. There's no get rich quick scheme anymore. Maybe 10, 20 years ago when there was 5 people using the internet. Yeah, you could have gotten that done, but not today. Not today. Definitely not. So the number one thing, site load speed. 53% mobile users leave site unless it loads in 3 seconds. What does that mean? That means that the light gray area is people that will stay past the 3 seconds. And the dark area is where you're losing money. So if you want to jump up and get your site visited more and interacted with more, pick up your speed. There's a couple of factors that go into this. One of them being, of course, web design. Another one is even server hosting. Wherever you have your server, whoever you host with, there's better hosting services, there's worse, there's always shared hosting. I talked about this in the past. If you're using a very cheap hosting service, well, again, you get what you paid for, but it could be costing you money. So if you go to a high-speed hosting, it's going to help you out. So don't forget, 53% of business lost. So pick it up. Easy. 53% more revenue. Get your speed. Get your website up to speed. Next step to get your website going is optimize your content. That means proper focus keywords. You need to pick them out. You need to select them carefully. You don't want the most expensive ones, but then you don't want the cheap ones either. You don't want to pick out words or you're like, oh yeah, well, this is exactly my industry. That's what I want to do. No, you don't want something that people don't look for. So there's a couple of tools that are out there. I think it's Ask the Public. That's a great tool. However, Neil Patel, who I follow and like, of course, and he helped me along a lot. I mean, watching his videos are very helpful. But he tells you, oh yeah, I just bought this thing for $1 million, whatever, 5 million, I don't know, whatever. I just bought this website, Ask the Public. It's so great. It gives you all these analytics and all these questions that people ask on the internet. Yeah, but the one thing he forgets to tell you is people ask those questions, but there's some of those that he puts a number one that I've tested. They only ask them once a month. So yeah, it's like, oh, you're going to focus on this. You're going to spend your time and money and invest into writing a perfect article. And technically, we're going to get into the technical part later. And then at the end of the day, you're stuck on, you're ranking number one, but for something that people just don't look for. So, yeah. So if you invested money into such an SEO, give money, somebody write all these blog articles about this, and then you pay them $1,000, nobody looks for it. I mean, come on. So yeah, between the Ask the Public, which is a good tool to lead you the way, and then the Google Keyword, of course, Planner is a great one. And I also use Word Tracker. There's another one called WordStream. Those are all good. You're going to spend a couple of hours, look for the proper keywords. You don't want the top ones. You don't want the shitty ones. So, I mean, that's what it comes down to. Next thing is visually appealing. So what you need on your website that's going to boost your visitation and interaction and time on site stuff and all sorts of these statistics is quality images. Quality images means not just stock images. You need images to portray what you're trying to tell people, but you don't want stock images, because lately I've been seeing a lot of even news. I mean, news is as much as bad as anybody else's. I used a couple of, I've learned this again the hard way. I was using these, and then 2-3 months later, I'm like, this picture that I picked is all over the place. So whether you're going to use the free images from Pixabay or even Shutterstock gives you some, when you look for these things, even Canva, don't pick the top one. Chances are 10 other people already used it, and probably in your industry and probably your competition. So if you use those stock images, be careful what you do, and always edit them, always alter them, make them visually appealing, make them different. Same thing with videos. Videos is hard to copy, but yeah, people do pirate videos as well. They just cut off the logo or the branding, and that's it. And other forms of multimedia, and just you need to get engaged. Images and videos are probably the top, but you can also have podcasts, you can have questionnaires. It's got to be looking good. It's got to bring the clients in, so that's important. And then, of course, it's valuable content. And like I said before, focusing on keywords, you can have 20,000 different blog posts that are perfect and are very informative. But if it's something that only 2 people look for, it's not going to help. But then again, now with ChatGPT, and last night there's another one called Bard that's going to come out. I'll get into that in my live stream later, probably today. Bard is an interesting one, because it's Google's like, oh yeah, we're coming out with our own. But ChatGPT's for public use. It's like, yeah, we're going to have that too, in a matter of weeks. So it's like there was news all over yesterday. Oh, Google's coming out with something. But you're like, where is it? Well, it's not available yet. Anyway, there's like tons of these tools. Valuable content, informative, relevant. Yeah, I put in prompts into ChatGPT. I come out with content. It's great. It looks nice. But then what happens is when I read the article through, I'm like, yeah, but there's no punchline. There's nothing you can use from it that would, be of help to somebody. Like, people will read it, but yeah, that's something that they can read on 20,000 other websites. It's just generic stuff, and it's good intro 101, but it doesn't go in depth. Doesn't give you the statistics, doesn't give you the numbers, doesn't give you the perspective. So if you want to get this stuff out there and you want to be good, you want to get your site boosted in the SEO rankings and jump up, valuable content, in depth. Not necessarily 5,000 words, because people don't have a long attention span, but 600 words, but it's got to make sense. It's got to make sense. And of course, volume, and as at the top, optimize your content. Volume and quality are always vital. I mean, you need to have, you can't post 3 blog posts and say, oh, I'm done. No matter how quality they are, it's not going to be there. For example, you're going to pick a keyword and you're going to write 1 article. Yeah, okay, so you're going to rank number 1 for that article if it's perfect for the keyword for a week, 2 weeks. After that, there's no additional content to support that. So you're done. What you're going to see in the rankings, you're going to see your website go boop, 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 all the way down. So that's that. Now, the best way to support your website is go real heavy on social media. Competition is big. You got to pick your battles, because you can't just beat the big guys at their game. You got to kind of look for different twists or look for niches, but you got to post. You got to post on social media. By posting on social media, you increase your visibility, your brand. And that translates back into like people coming to your site to see what actually you have to offer. But if you don't, again, make your social media appealing, if you don't put a lot of stuff out there, it doesn't mean every 5 minutes you should be posting and twittering, but posting on Instagram at least twice a week if you're selling some products that, you make them look, you get nice images and good text and good hashtags and stuff. So that's all good. And, post regularly, know your target audience, cater to them wherever you can, and as often as possible. But not every 5 minutes, because that would land you into spam as well. Then because it's expensive and it's time consuming, like I said at the start. So you could pick at least 1 channel. If you can't pick 5 or 6 at the same time because you don't have a $10,000 a month budget, 20,000. I mean, you would not believe how much money they spend. Like most of the stuff that I'm talking about is most of you will not have the money to invest into this thing. So I understand you can't go big on 5 media things or 5 social medias because of the budget and also because of ROI, return on investment. If you're going to put $20,000 into a website, is it going to make you that money back? And if so, how soon? Because most of the social media stuff, again, is not overnight. It takes you 3 months, 6 months to a year. So whatever your budget's going to be, time or money, get ready for a long-term haul. So it's like, oh yeah, this week I'm going to spend 40 hours and I'm done. And I'll save up the other 40 hours and I'll do that next month again in 1 week. No. Make a commitment. Say, all right, I'm going to spend $1,000 a week. Then you pick your right channel and you do all the stuff that you need to do. Or you're going to say, okay, I don't have $1,000 a week. So let me just set aside 5-6 hours a week and literally do that. But do that for 6 months to a year. Otherwise, it's not going to work. You're going to have iffy results at best. Nothing happens by itself. You got to keep pushing it. Professional web design. Well, you got to hire a professional if you want to do web design. Wix and Squarespace are great. But on the next slide, I'm going to show you. If you're able to follow all these things, some of them, of course, they'll do it for you, but cheap do-it-yourself, like trying to do your own dental work. I mean, DIYs are like, I mean, you're going to go what? If you need new teeth, you're going to go to a dentist, right? You're not going to try to do it at home. And again, back to the competition. There's big competition out there, and you want to beat out the competition, or you just want to stay around and, I've been doing this and I'm really good at it. Why am I not getting any results? Because you're not a professional designer. No matter your business, you're great at that business. You gotta be, if you want to win on the internet, you gotta be great at professional design. And rather than spending 60, 80 hours on Squarespace or Wix trying to learn all this stuff that what I'm doing, what I'm showing you, and more, just invest it into your business. Pay somebody, and then make more money doing what you do, whatever your scope of business is. And yeah, a lot of times you're going to use Wix or Squarespace or anything else and templates. And even if you get into WordPress, all right, you got a WordPress website, you use WordPress, blah, blah, blah website template. If you're going to have the same template like 15 other companies in your competition, then you're not going to stand out. That's just simple as that. So it's like, oh yeah, it's this guy, 1 guy, 2 guy, 3. I don't care. I'll just buy from this guy. And so, you need to stand out. And the thing is if once you set up your proper target audience, all the stuff I talked about, you need to be consistent in your branding. Your branding, if you're consistent, will turn out 33% more conversions. And when you do this professional design, you got to pay attention to small details like placement of CTAs, call to action buttons, colors, font size, type, spacing. They all have big impact on user experience, and that's what you're about. Anyway, so now talking about the next slide, this is the big one. This is a big one. This is the key SEO metrics to follow during web design and when working with your website. Do you know about all of these? There's more, by the way. This is not the whole list. You can't, like keywords. I'll just go through a few. I mean, keyword use and density. Again, I already spoke about how to pick the keywords. You want the ones that people actually look for. So, all right. If you pick one nobody looks for, what's the use? And then it's the density. Used to be the Stone Age of SEOs. Used to be, you want to sell shoes. So on your website, you're gonna say yellow shoes, let's say. So you're gonna put all over your website, yellow shoes, yellow shoes, yellow shoes, yellow shoes. Yeah, yellow shoes, yellow shoes, yellow shoes. I wear yellow shoes. I love yellow shoes. I have yellow shoes, yellow shoes, yellow shoes, yellow shoes. But on a 600 word article, you don't want to have more than 4 or 5 key phrases, and you may actually do a little bit more, but you have to put them into different structures and, kind of a different format, and sometimes longer, sometimes shorter. That all counts. So if you're going to put 100 keywords on one page, Google soon realized, or all the search engines, but Google being number one, that's why I mentioned, but all the search engines realize, listen, this is good, but when you have a 600 word blog post, and 300 of those words are yellow shoes, it's called spam, and just keyword stuffing. That's what that technique is called, and we're just going to flag you for being useless. Again, talking about quality, informative content, you're going to become useless. Meta tags. Meta tags is something that is important. You got to put them in there. A lot of the Wix and Squarespace sites, I see that they don't have the room for that. And even if they do, most people don't use it because they don't even know that it's important. So, website load speed. Talked about that already. Mobile responsiveness. 3 seconds. How fast does it load? Like I said, again, the website load speed may be good with Squarespace and Wix, but yeah, great. So you got 1 out of 25, 30 different metrics taken care of by them? Great. Backlinks. How are you handling your backlinks? Yeah, you got to post other places, not just yours. You got to work with people, other people, stuff like that. Social signs. How good is your website? Well, how many posts do you have on Instagram? How many followers you have? If you notice, Google, if you search for your own company, one of those things is going to be, oh, this is Instagram. And they have 200 followers. Which site do you think is going to rank better? The one with, you have 2 identical websites. Let's say competition does the same thing you do, but the competition has 2 million followers. You have 1,000. Who do you think Google is going to value more and put ahead of you? Simple, right? User experience, previous page, talked about that. HTML structure and coding. Yes. Even WordPress, even Wix and stuff. They're not perfect in coding. Nothing is. Nothing. But you're just trying to tone it down. So that's one of the disadvantages of Wix and Squarespace. They'll give you a ready solution. They're not going to let you do much to the HTML structure. WordPress is an open source. You can do anything you want with it. Next one, canonicalization, semantic structure, stuff like that. Robots.txt, do you have the file? Most places will do that automatically. XML sitemap, that's a whole topic altogether. URL structure, that's another big one. How are you structuring? Is the keyword in your URL? That's a little thing at the top that you're gonna, click on. Redirects, 404 errors. Structured data, now there's breadcrumbs and stuff, which is a breadcrumb navigation is the last one. I could talk about these all day, but there's a lot of them. We could get into, basically on this page, I could do a webinar about, a 2-hour webinar about every single one of these and more. So, do you want to get into that, or would you rather pay somebody? Well, that's an obvious one, right? Next slide, Google business page. Is it working for you? Is it doing everything you want it to do? Is it offering all the services? Is it talking about them? Doesn't have any of your content? The thing is Google business page, if you don't have one, get one today. Today. It is the best way to boost your business, without a doubt. There's only a few people that don't have one. Well, sometimes Google creates one for you because other people will put it in, but if it's not really if you don't own it, if you don't have a possession of it, it's not linked to your website, doesn't show up properly, etc., etc. But anyway, the importance of it is, and keeping it updated, is that you get 86% of people that search businesses, and before they go visit that business, they will search it on Google Maps. Google Maps ties into Google business page, so they'll see that part. So without going even to your website, which is something, of course, Google wants. Google wants, as with all social media, they all want you to spend time on their website and on their pages rather than your website. But because the way it's structured, the search engines, etc., Google will show their information first. So 86% of people that before they visit a business, they look it up on Google Maps, meaning they will see that. And if you're not there, you're losing 86% of potential customers. So between site load speed at 53%, Google business page 86%, only 14% of people don't check. It's incredible. I mean, I can't even believe these numbers when I go through them sometimes. But without a Google business page, you're lost. So that's the number one. And there's a lot of information you could put on there. There's post articles, there's whatever content you have on your website, you could put that on your business profile, which will show up and, attract customers. That's what you want. You want to attract customers or leads or whatever your business is. So Google business page, key factor. Now to close it up, we have a short, brief summary. So let's go over what I've talked about today. I mean, site load speed was obvious. That has to do with servers and web page design and content. Optimized content, meaning something that's of interest. Social media, obviously everybody knows, everybody talks about it, it's so great. Does everybody do it the right way? Well, that's a question. Pro design, yeah. With so much content out there, and so many businesses and so much online presence and entities, you really want to stand out. And you can't stand out unless you take a highly professional approach to this. So, and then the Google business page we just covered. So now, what is your money versus time investment? Now let's look at how much money do you have? How much of a budget do you have? Well, if you don't have a budget, then you may need to invest your time. So, to just set up a business, you look at the advertisements on these Wix and Squarespace things. And I keep talking about that, but yeah, be online in 10 seconds or 5 seconds, 1 second, just 3 clicks and you're online. Your business is performing. Yes, it's online, but it's not performing. And it's kind of misleading, the ads. And a lot of people believe the fact that, oh yeah, I'll build a business. I just had a meeting last week. It was somebody that bought into this lie, and it was just, he said, yeah, I figured I'd start the business and people will find me. I was like, well, you're missing a message. You're missing structure. You don't have any social media that you haven't done in 6 months. Really, you have 1 post here, 2 posts there. There's nothing focused on it. Nothing is driving traffic to your thing and then to your website, to your business, to your e-commerce business. You're not even telling people you have an e-commerce site. I mean, it's so many things you got to do around it. So, while Wix and Squarespace will tell you you're online in 2 seconds, yeah, but that's about it. But that being online is just like turning on your phone. What else are you gonna do with it? You gotta work with it. So, yeah, these ready solutions and stuff, you can get a website from them, but it's hard to optimize it because it's a closed system. And even if you do know, and if you have all the content, and even if you have an idea, and if you will send a message, you'll set it up properly. Not that this person that I've talked to didn't spend any time on developing it. I mean, he put tons of products. It was hours and hours and hours. Now it's 6 months later, and he didn't make a single penny from it. And I'm like, yeah, but I mean, I can tell, right? Just looking at the page is like, I know it's not working for you because you're not sending any kind of a specific message. So that's as far as the web design. I mean, between the site load speed and pro design, you better leave it up to the professionals. I mean, yeah, we charge $6,000 for a website. Yeah, but it gets found. It performs. When you work with it, you put content on it. Search engines go and index it and find it, and that's the difference. That's what you want, after all. I mean, then the next thing is the content on the website, and it's blogs and videos. I mean, you got to put those things in there. Multimedia. We covered the entire things. Is how much time does it take you? I mean, how much is your time worth with the website and the blogs? I mean, the blogs, to write a blog, for example, with the ChatGPT. Yeah, everybody says, oh, it's 2 seconds. You're going to make a lot of money. Yeah, well, when I tried it and I said it, you still have to finish it up. You have to make it high quality. And so that takes time. So do you have the time, let's say for blogs and videos, 6 hours a week to spend on blogs? Do you want to do that? Same thing with website. As I said, how long is it going to take you to set it up? It's probably take you 2 weeks to a month to set it up properly, put all the content on it. How much with the blogs, and then next thing you have the entire social media. I mean, social media, it's going to take you another at least 10 hours a week. Now, That's just one channel, maybe. I mean, it depends, but I just put that number out there, like roughly, because if you write 2 blogs, it may be 4 or 5 hours. If you make a video, maybe 3 hours. If you do a webinar, like webinars like this, that generally takes us about 10 hours to do every week, and so that's you gotta look at it. How much money do you have to invest? And the more you have, the better it is. Of course, like always. But if you don't have the money, then you got to look at the time. And above all, look at the consistency of it. So you don't want to be spending just 2 hours every Friday, every third Friday, for example, of the month. I mean, you're better off not doing it at all. You're better off doing the offline stuff, networking, and talking to people. So, this is the type of stuff that we focus on, we can help you with. We could counsel you on this even. And it's then the last one I said is Google Site Info. Again, it's the same thing. You set it up. Do you know how to set up the page? Probably don't. Do you know all the elements that go into it? For example, we help restaurants. So restaurants, they'll invest this $6,000 to $10,000, and you may think, $6,000 to $10,000, that's a lot of money. But for a restaurant that's running on whatever margin they're running on, 20-30%, and they're generating business of $60,000 a month, but they get to keep only 20 of it, maybe sometimes less, So now if we can help them, which we did a couple of times, make $2,000-$3,000 extra every month, which just comes out to, an investment of $6,000, you get $2,000 back. That means your money's back in 3 months. And then it's basically net profit. I mean, something to maintain it. There's always costs to run any kind of a system, but it's nothing compared to the 20% you're giving up to either Google, who if they sell for you, they'll take 15%. Uber, DoorDash, 25% easy, sometimes 35%. But that's for pickups and that's for deliveries, and for pickups it's a little bit less. But that's a lot of money that's running out, and so you could do these things yourself, and then you could surpass these, because these big companies, the reason why they're beating out the small guy is because the small guy believes Wix and Squarespace, does not get involved into all this professional stuff. And then at the end of the day, these guys are investing millions to take that business away, because they have their websites is more user-friendly. You go on Uber, you go to the Uber app, you want to order something, boom, right there's a store, right there's order, put it in a cart, go out, boom, bam, and that's it, they're done. Whereas some of the sites that we worked with, you couldn't put stuff in the shopping cart and go to checkout on 2 clicks. So if it's hard to use, the user experience is very important. It's costing you thousands of dollars a month. So, if let's get together, let's get in touch with us. Let's look at it, and let's see how we can help you. And I'm sure we will. And we'll show you some things that how your business can be performing. I mean, you got to review all these things, see how much you have available, how much are you making now, how much would you like to be making, and we'll set some goals where you're going to see some tangible results in 2 to 3 months. Anyway, thank you for your attention. Hope this was insightful, and see you next week. Bye-bye.